Shalom, shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, and shalom to the scattered Hebrew Israelites who are throughout the four corners of the earth. This is the special surprise that I had for you that the Most High had me worked on. And this is to give you understanding on why Israelites no longer use certain English words, okay? Because many of you, when you hear our videos, you think that we are denouncing the Messiah, but we're not. And some of you are thinking that we are denouncing the faith, okay? But we're not. So here is the proof, okay? I'm giving you resources, things you can go look up for yourself. All right. Now what you see is a picture of the Roman Catholic Christ, okay? Take a good look at this picture. This is their image that they have pushed upon the world, okay? And when you do your research, you will find this is not the true image of the Messiah, for it does not match up to what the scriptures has written about him. Now let us go to the title. So the title of this word today is, I have to wait to come in, Israelites and Gentiles. The origins of the Romans Christianity. Kristyane, a Greek word. I'm going to say this again. The origins of the Romans Christianity. Kristyane, a Greek word. Now, it's the reason why I title this, because again, this is to give you understanding, Gentiles and Christians, why we no longer use certain words. Now, after we go through this word for today, Israelites, I need for you to have patience and understanding for those who are just awakening, okay? Because as the word has prophesied unto us, Satan has deceived the whole world, and he has done a good job. And the tares has done a good job to bring in the wheat. So when people are using these certain English words today, we cannot condemn them by those words. We have to listen to their heart, okay? Once we listen to their heart and see how they walk and see if they follow the faith, then we know whom they truly serve, okay? So again, for example, as the Most High had mercy and grace upon you, when you was not awakened and you did not know these truths, okay? Just as he was patient with you, you must have patience with your brothers and sisters in the body of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, who is the Messiah. Remember that, okay? So don't come at them and try to cram this down their throat. In other words, don't come at them and try to cram our words down their throat. First, allow them to seek Yah, so they can receive his understanding and his wisdom. Okay, now that we have said that, let me go through the announcements. In the video description box, you will have access to what we're about to go over about the Greek word Kristyane, so you can do further research and seek God yourself. And I want to stress to you again, this is why it's so important to keep the King James 16:11, because there's so much evidence in there to prove Yahuwah's truth and to prove what the heathens have done to his word. Okay? It's just like if you were to go to court, will you put your evidence away? No. This is why the word said that you need his spirit to teach you all things. Because the Gentiles got a hold of our sacred books and scrolls. So with your spirit, his spirit will allow you to see what is true and what is not true. And the King James 16:11 Bible is your foundational book to use against any other books, including the work of Josephus. Okay, so just listen to this video, and again, you will have access to the things that we should talk about in this video. Also, the Most High is speaking through his prophets and prophetess. Just recently, he has spoken through one of our sisters and has given a message to the 10 tribes of Israel, known as the house of Ephraim or the house of Israel. okay, which is the northern kingdom. In that message, it's going to relate to what we're going to talk about with this Greek word Kristyane, and it's going to confirm what I'm telling unto you. Also, in the video description box, there will be other links and videos for you to watch and other announcements. So please go to the video description box or to the pinned comment section. Also, in the video description box, you will have understanding of the Most High calendar and get understanding of Satan calendar, which is known as the Gregorian calendar. And most importantly, please remember Brother Alayasha and his family. Please pray for them, for they truly are bearing their spiritual cross. For those who are able, go see them. Go see them because they are in prison and their children have been taken away from them. Now, the date of this word is September the 8th, 2017 AD on the heathens calendar. And the heathens day is Friday, and the phase of this day is at night. But on the Most High calendar, it is the 6th month and the 18th day of the moon. And the Most High day starts from sundown to sundown. That's why you see me written in parentheses, September the 8th to the 9th. Now that we have done that, let's go to the next area. Now, when you go to my page on YouTube, a lot of y'all are going to see my testimony so you can understand who I serve and who I believe in. Okay, you're going to see that. And I'm glad that the Most High gave me that project to work on because it came out at the same time. Because when y'all listen to this testimony, especially my brothers and sisters who call themselves Christians, some of y'all still not understanding what I'm saying, what I am saying, and why I denounce Christianity. Okay, so here is the proof to give to you, so you will have understanding why we don't call ourselves Christians. So you will have understanding why Hebrew Israelites do not call themselves Christians. Okay, now let us begin. Now we're going to the note. The origins of the Roman Christianity. Kristyane, a Greek word. And the video link of this video will be listed in the notes, so you can always go back to the video and rewatch. Now, let's look at the book of Acts, because I know what you're thinking. You're going to say, well, the word Christian is in the Bible. Okay, so I'm going to read to you Acts chapter 11, verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. Now, when you understand the prophet Daniel and history, you have to ask yourself, what was the empire that ruled Antioch before the Romans came into play? I'm going to give you this answer now because you're going to see why this is so important. The Greek Empire ruled Antioch, and it was under Antiochus the fourth Epiphanes' rule too. That wicked one, that wicked Greek king. Okay, so what you're going to learn about the area of Antioch, you're going to have people who lived there even in the time of the Roman Empire who spoke Greek. This is very important. This is why it's so important to know history. And then we begin to get an understanding how this word Christian got into the Bible. Again, to give you understanding why Israelites don't call themselves that. But let us continue. You can also find this word in Acts chapter 26, verse 28, and 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16. Now notice this word is only seen in the Bible 3 times. There's a reason for that. Okay? Just like the word Easter. Okay, because we know Easter actually supposed to mean Passover. And just like the word Jew, because Jew is a 18th century word. And the King James Bible is dated 1611. So how can an 18th century word, which is in the 1700s, get into a 1611 copy? Okay, so we know how and why the heathens put it in there. But the correct English word is Judeans. All right, now we shall look at the verses to show you why we call ourselves Nazarene. Okay, this is very important because we follow the Lamb, the Messiah. Matthew chapter 2, verse 23. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets. He shall be called a Nazarene. Now, those who know Torah, we know what a Nazarite is, okay? But you notice the Messiah drank wine and he fellowshiped with what? With sinners, harlots, and publicans, because he was sent out to the lost. He has to do what? Deliver the captives. Be the light unto those who are in darkness. Okay. So again, we follow the Lamb. So if he's called a Nazarene, we shall be called a Nazarene. But it's a deep spiritual mystery of why we call Nazarene. One small hint is dealing with your crown of glory. But there's a video on the channel that will give you more deep insight on that. And I would, if I remember, I'm going to try to put that video link in the description box or in the pinned comment section for you to have. But let us continue. Also, let us read Acts chapter 24, verse 5. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedation among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sects of the Nazarene. Now, when you read the book of Acts chapter 24, you will learn that the ringleader of the sects of the Nazarenes was Paul. Now, the word Nazarene did go forth throughout Jerusalem into the what we call the old world. Go back and read that whole chapter. So I'm letting you know that the people of that land and of that time knew of the word Nazarene according to whatever language that they spoken, because there's a Greek word for Nazarene. There is. Okay, but let's keep going. Acts chapter 28, verse 22. But we desire to hear of thee what thou thinkest, for as concerning this sect, we know that everywhere it is spoken against. So the whole, when I say the whole world, I'm talking about the old world spoke against the Nazarene, because you know my people was against them, as well as the Gentiles was against them, because everybody had their own faith. You know, they were following whatever they believed, and they rejected it. Okay. So this sect that was rejected by the whole world was the Nazarene. This is very important to know, because you're going to see why as we go further in this word. I went ahead and put the Greek concordance for where the word Christian comes from. It comes from G5546. And in the Greek tongue, I'm going to try to pronounce it correctly. It's pronounced as Kristianos. Now, this will give you understanding why you see the Christians put an X in Christmas. When you do a further study in the Paleo Hebrew and Picto Hebrew, you will learn that the letter X is, I want to make sure I got it right, it is Taw, T-A-W or T-A-V, okay? When a person is putting an X upon you or a cross upon you, you are agreeing to go in covenant with them. This is why it's important to have no markings and not to have any idols of that, because only the Messiah can make that marking upon you. Because once he make that marking upon you, you become in covenant with him. In other words, his spirit joined with you. This is very important. Again, learning the Hebrew letters and words, it is so, what's the word I'm looking for? It can truly help you to understand what is truly going on in this Roman Empire, okay? And how they have deceived the whole world. And Satan is their principality. He is their angel. He is their ruler, okay? So this will give you understand why you see the letter X in Christmas. Remember, Christmas is a heathen holiday, a pagan holiday, because it is of the Roman Christianity, okay? And the Roman Catholic Church ways has spread it over into the West. Go back in history. Look up any church founder. Look up their history and trace where their founding come from. And I guarantee they shall carry over some of the things of the Roman Catholics Christianity, such as worshiping the Most High on Sunday, participating in Christmas and Easter, following the Gregorian calendar. Those are the signs to let you know you are still following the Roman Christian. You're following the Roman Christianity. But let us continue. So the word Christianos come from a root word from G5547, which is Christos. And that Christos word comes from G5548, which is cryo, which is very important. Now, we're going to go to Aramaic text. Yes, the Aramaic text. My people spoke Hebrew or Aramaic. So let us go to John chapter 1, verse 41. And also go to that in your King James Bible, because you're going to see a big clue. John chapter 1, verse 41. This one first saw Simeon, his brother, and said unto him, we have found Messiah, the anointed one, the Messiah. This is very important, because notice how the Son of God title is spelled. It's spelled with an M, not with a C, which is very important. Okay. This is the Aramaic language, the language of the Syrians. Okay. Now, when you look in the English Bible, you're going to see a Greek word called seus. We're going to talk about that later on in the video. Okay. But notice that those words begin with M. Okay. Now, the Roman Christianity used the word Christ. There's a reason for that. But let us continue. All right. Take this time now to pause your screen, and you will have access to that link. When you go to the Google Note, okay, you will have access to that. And the link comes from the AramaicsScriptures.com. Okay. Let us go to the next photo. This is the next photo going down to verse 42. Okay. And you see how Aramaic is written. All right. Now let us go to Acts chapter 11, verse 26 in Aramaic. Here you can see as it's written, and when he had found him, he brought him with him unto Antioch. And a whole year they were gathering together with the Etha, which means the assembly / the church. And they taught many people. From thence in Antioch, Talmidae, which means disciples, Talmidim, which means disciples, were first called Kristyane. When I first came across this passage, I'm like, something's not right here. Because you got to go back to John chapter 1, verse 41. Notice how that word is spelled with a K, right? But the Messiah title is spelled with an M. Something very important to look at. So I want you to go back to the screen and pause it, because now we get into the breakdown. Okay. Acts chapter 11, verse 26. And take this time now to pause the screen, and you will see that word means Christians. Okay. Now we're going to go to Acts chapter 24, verse 5. What it says here in the Aramaic language. For we have found this Gabra, that he is a corrupter, and he stirs up disturbance for all the Yehudei, and that means the Judeans / the Jews, who are in all the earth. For he is the Risha, the head of the Yufaena, the teaching of the Nazarene, which means the Nazarites. Notice how that word is spelled. So if you have an Aramaic word for Nazarene, is there an Aramaic word for those who follow the Messiah? Yes, it is. Let us keep going. I just want to emphasize to you again, Christianity is a Greek word, not an Aramaic word. And the Aramaic language is of the Syrians. Okay. Here we see what we have here. And I want to read this to you first. Quote. This comes from the Beit. Let me make sure I pronounce it right. It's spelled as BEITCHESED.org. It comes from their page. And they're telling you that Christianity is not an Aramaic word. It is actually a Greek word. And you will have access to all these links, but you have to click on the Google document link that is provided in the video description box to access these links. Okay. So let me read this quote, what they said. In Acts chapter 11, verse 26, we read, from that time on the disciples in Antioch were first called Kristyane. Roth correctly cites in the footnote that and I cannot pronounce that word, which started S / apostles, do not call themselves Kristyane, Christians. See, the apostles do not call themselves that. The S word are members of the way, not to be confused with the Way International. referred to as Netzarim. Gentiles in Antioch coined the word Kristyane, a Greek term for messianics, which means believers or follower of the Messiah. Okay. In the appendices, Roth notes the Netzarim faith is considered as a sect of Judaism in the first century because it was originally sponsored by Jews. Now, I'm going to have to explain this word Judaism. The Judaism that you see today, it is of the synagogue of Satan. For when you take their conversion, or when you convert over to Judaism, you have to reject the Messiah. Beware. This is why I'm telling you, this is not about religion. This is about a covenant with Yahuwah through his son, Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. But let us continue. The popularity of Mashiach, Yahushua, or Yeshua, was the impetus for the original faith to be morphed into pseudo-Christian pagan religions. Although the values of the Netzarim faith are clearly preserved in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek texts, concepts like having Torah written upon the heart, observance of Torah, is almost non-existent within the Gentile-based Christian religion which evolved in Antioch, Rome, and Alexandria, Egypt. This is telling you a whole lot, my brothers and sisters who call yourself Christians. So now you can see that Kristyane is a Greek word, and this Greek word was even inserted in the Aramaic text. Let me go back up here so you can see this. It was inserted. This is why I keep telling my brothers and sisters, you need the Spirit of Yah to show you all truth, and you need to unharden your heart, open your ears and your eyes, and be willing to receive his truth, because Satan has deceived the whole world. And this is how the terrorists have blended in with us. Okay, let us keep going. All right. And this is a picture of where you can see where I got it. Okay. Now, when you go to John chapter 1, verse 41, you will see in that passage that the Greek word is Messias. And when you translate that into the Hebrew, it is Mashiach. In the Aramaic language, it is Meshi Kai Ha. And in the English language today, it is the Messiah. Proof for this can be confirmed in Daniel chapter 9, verse 25 to 26. Again, the heathen inserting the word Christ in John chapter 1, verse 41, when they should have had inserted the word Messiah. This is what I'm talking about, word transliteration, which brings us to word corruption. Messiah does not equal to Christ. All right. That means it's incorrect. The word transliteration for Messiah should be Messiah. Okay. Now, for the followers of the Messiah, here are the words. In Hebrew, it's Mashiachim, and there may be different ways of spelling that. In the Aramaic, it is Mishai Hayi, and in the English, it is today called Messianic. Okay. And when we look at the word Nazarene, you will often find the Christians and Gentile interchanging this word Nazarene with the word Christians, but they don't equal each other. It is completely different. Again, Christian is a Greek word. All right. And it does not relate to being a Masonic believer. I mean, it does not relate to the word Messianic, and it does not relate to the word Nazarene. This is something that the heathens have done, my brothers and sisters. Also, in your spare time, read this paragraph that comes from Wikipedia, because again, what I want to point out to you, when you look in different languages, like you have Syriac, Arabic, notice how these words are spelled. And they are very close to the word Nazarene. Again, Christian is way off. So when you read a lot of the translations, such as the work of Josephus, you can see where the Gentiles put their twist on things. So you will often see them using the word Christian. Okay. But Christian is not a correct transliteration of the word Nazarene or Messianic. It's not a correct word to use. Okay. So this is why I put this paragraph in there. Okay. So you can see for yourself. And the word Nazarene can be found in the Bible as well. Again, you have to look at how words are spelled from language to language. Again, and you can see what is a word transliteration and what is word corruption. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, here is a book. And in this book, they have a reference, which is on page 404. And it's number 50. And it said, Ephraim uses both the Syriac word, Mishahayi, and the translated Greek word, Kristyane, from Acts 11:26. See back Hyman contra Haeresis. I'm terrible with pronunciation, so I'm going to spell this word for you. Haereses, and that's the rest of the resource information that you can click on yourself. So here we have the proof that the correct Aramaic word for the followers of the Messiah should have been Mishahayi. Okay, Mishahayi. And Kristyane is a Greek word for Christian, but Mishahayi stands for a Messianic believer, a follower of the Messiah. Okay, and the name of this book, I'm not even going to try to say that because my tongue is going to mess it up. Let me see, can I find a bigger title? Here go the name of this book. It was edited by Maurice F. Wiles and Edward Yarno Paul M. Paris. And this is what I love about a lot of different types of resources. I love how they list their resources that they went into, and you can see where these words come from. Okay, and what we're doing now, we are doing etymology. Okay, the origin of words. Okay, let us keep going. Here is another area, and I got this from Google. Make sure I'm looking at this right. Source number 3. And it comes from Lear Descartes, and I cannot pronounce that word. It starts with an A. Okay, and it was edited by Maurice F. Wiles and Edward Yarno Paul M. Paris. Okay, I think I have got some of this out of order, but I did number. Okay, this is source number 2. And okay, I know what I did here. I gave you a picture of this book here, so you have the actual passage from this book. Okay, so I gave you a picture of the reference. Okay, let me see, can I blow this up so you can see it? When I got Ephraim 50, and in the passage, I'm going to try to read some of this to you, but if I can't, you see here what it says here. And it will confirm to you, I was telling about history. There were people in the Roman Empire, and these are dealing with territories they conquered. Remember, they got a lot of territories from the Greek, such as Antioch. And in those areas was people who were Greek, and they spoke Greek. Okay, so that's proof right there. So in that time, you can read that for yourself. Okay, now we get to the work of Josephus. Yes, Josephus will confirm a lot of things to you. You may not have known this about Josephus, and this is what I love about reading everything, because the Spirit of Yah will show you his truth. Josephus preferred the Hebrew Gospels of the Nazarenes or Ebionites, and you will see the word Nazarene or Ebionites interchangeably. Okay, that means converted Jews or converted Judeans. They believe in the Messiah. All right, so let me read this again. Josephus preferred the Hebrew Gospel of the Nazarene or Ebionites and rejected the Greek Gospels and Greek books of the New Testament. And I'm going to tell you why he did that. Okay. Again, the answer is in the 1611 Bible. All right. Also, again, converted Jews, Judean, they were often called Ebionites or Nazarenes. Okay. Also, when you read in the appendix of the dissertation 1 and 5 on page 820 and 1 and 4, you will come to learn that Nazarene or Ebionites were in opposition to the whole Catholic Church of Christ. Now, notice the word Catholic is dealing with the Romans, and it's a reason why they was in opposition. And we're going to talk about that a little more further. But let me read you the passage that's in the dissertation 1 and 5, okay? And you will have access to that photo. But just listen here, because it's really good and juicy. Since therefore Josephus appeared to have been in his own heart and conscience no other than a Nazarene or Ebonite Christian. Now I do need to explain this. You're going to see the translator insert the word Christian because he used Christian as a believer of the Messiah, as a follower of the Messiah. Okay, remember what I told you about how they go in our sacred books and how they translate things and they insert things. So this is why you're going to see that word. So let me read it over again. Since therefore Josephus appears to have been in his own heart and conscience no other than a Nazarene or Ebonite Christian, and by consequence with them rejected all our Greek Gospels and Greek books of the New Testament, and received only the Hebrew Gospels of the Nazarenes or Ebonites, styled by them, the Gospel according to the Hebrews, or according to the 12 apostles, or even according to Matthew. We are always to have... Okay. All right, let me start over again. And receive only the Hebrew gospel of the Nazarene or Ebonites, styled by them, the gospel according to the Hebrews, or according to the 12 apostles, or even according to Matthew. We ought always to have the Nazarene or Ebonite gospel with the other Nazarene or Ebonite fragments in view when we consider any passages of Josephus relating to Christ or to Christianity. Again, this is a Gentile who had translated the work of Josephus into English, but we know Josephus don't use the word Christ or Christianity. But notice here, the word Nazarene and Ebonite. And you're going to see that word again in the 1611 Bible. Yes, I've been telling y'all to get that 1611 Bible. Oh, it has some good juicy stuff in there because no other Bible has what the 1611 has. See, there was pages in the front of that book that gives you a lot of good information and expose what these heathens have done and the lies they have spread throughout the four corners of the earth of the Romans, Catholic, Christianity, church. Okay, so which brings us to this. In the 1611 Bible, in the section that's dedicated to the reader, and I'm going to read this as quote, of Symmachus and Theodotion, both Ebonites, that is most vile heretics, that they joined them together with the Hebrew original and the translation of the 70 as have been before I'm sorry, my tongue getting twisted. As have been before signified out of Ephanes, and sent them forth opening to be considered of and perused by all. Now notice that the Roman church often would label Nazarenes and Ebonites or Ebonites as heretics. And it's the reason for that. You have to go back to the 1611 because the answer is there. Acts chapter 24 verse 5. Paul, the ringleader of the sects of the Nazarenes. This is what we should have been called. We are not Christians, my brothers and sisters. We are Messianic Nazarenes. We follow the Lamb. Okay, we don't follow heathens, and we do not follow the Roman Christianity. So to give you understanding why Josephus reject the Greek books and the Greek gospel, here's why. You can find it again in the 1611 under Ben Sirah, known as the book of Ecclesiasticus, under the prologue. Okay, and just all you have to do is go to that on link. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. This is why, my brothers and sisters, we don't use those words. Because once the Father bring you out of the darkness into the light, we're going to go after the words that has the most power in them. Okay. Now, those who are not awakened, who have not came to that level of understanding, the Father know where you at. He sees your heart. That's why he still hears you and answers you. But as you seek y'all more for his truth, you can come out of that darkness and into the light and begin to speak the words that we are saying now today. Okay, so let me continue. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. So it's a big difference. This is why there's a lot of confusion among Christians. This is why they have self-interpretation of the scriptures. Okay? Because when you translate a language to another language, it loses its force, its true meaning. Okay? Let us keep going. Also, I want you to read this article. It is by ForAngelPublication.com to give you the truth about Constantine. A lot of you are not aware what Constantine truly did. He went after the Jews. In other words, he made laws to prevent the people from keeping the holy days and feast days according to the Most High calendar. And the Most High calendar consists of the sun, the moon, and Mazaroth. Yes. Read that article. Your mouth gonna drop. See, when you understand Daniel chapter 7, then you understand that Constantine played a big role in that. And we can truly see that the Gregorian calendar today, which is the Roman calendar, is Satan's calendar, the heathen's calendar. And it will not give you the correct holy days for our Father in heaven. And those who are against the holy days, you need to read Ezekiel chapter 40:48. You also need to read Zechariah chapter 14 and Isaiah chapter 66. And I believe it's Colossians chapter 2, verse 12. But let me check my Bible right here and make sure that it's correct. Let me check. Colossians chapter 2. Almost there. You know how you turn to me. Okay, here you go. Colossians chapter 2, verse 16. For we are to judge no man who want to respect the holy days or the new moon days or the Sabbath days. So nothing never changed, Christians. Nothing changed. And the reason why I'm speaking in this tone, because y'all are not reading his word. You won't even seek y'all for his truth. You still want to stay in this darkness that the Roman Catholic Church had put you in. You are following the Roman Christianity. Please seek y'all. Please come out of that darkness, because the Messiah is coming back. And a lot of people are going to reject the true Messiah because they're going to fall for this Christ, the Christ of the Romans. So this is why this video had to be made, so you can get understanding why the Hebrew Israelites don't use the word Christ. So you can get understanding why we don't use the word Jesus or Jesus. So you can get understanding why we say Messiah, or why we say Messianic. Oh, I'm sorry. Messianic. Why we say Nazarene. Okay. This is to give you understanding, because you have been deceived by the heathens. You have been deceived by the Roman Catholic Church. And Yah is trying to bring you out of this. But you have to unharden your hearts. Open your ears and your eyes. And again, if you don't understand anything that I said in this video, please seek Yah in all things. Don't seek out man and see what they say. Seek him in the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. For we are taught by the Messiah's Spirit, as written in 1 John chapter 2, verse 27, and John chapter 14 to John chapter 15. And read Luke chapter 11, verse 9 to 13. And Israelites, have patience in the same way that the Most High had patience with you, because you were once in darkness. But now that he's awakened you, seek Yah in how to present this and how to teach this, because Satan is looking to bring confusion. So those who are in darkness will not be awakened, because the way you are teaching it or the way you're bringing it out, you're not bringing it out in the wisdom of Yah. Remember, we're supposed to be fishermen of men. So if you want to catch that fish, not every fish is the same. You got to use a certain type of bait. You see what I'm saying? You got to ask Yah to give you creative thinking. You got to ask Yah to give you wisdom and understand on how to bring that fish in. Again, we're supposed to be fishermen. And the Messiah set the example. All right, my family, this concludes this word. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understand it. If you did not, please seek Yah. Okay? And this is not to debate. I'm not going to argue with you about these words. Because if you want to say the other words, that is between you and Yah. Because y'all know your intentions in your heart. He can see your thoughts. He can hear your thoughts. Okay. So I'm not going to argue about this, because I'm going to listen to your spirit. I'm going to see how you walk. I'm going to see if you keep the Most High commandments, laws, statutes, and judgment as written in the book of Revelation, as written in 1 John, as written in the first book of John, second book and third book. It's there. The laws have not been done away with. This is what you're not understanding. This is the last thing I'm going to say. When the Messiah made the new covenant for us, this is what changed. Instead of us being under the law, that means instead of the law being your judge, the Messiah become your judge. Because see, when the law judged you, there was no room for grace and mercy. Either you was put to death or cut off from the nation of Israel. Do you see now? But in the new covenant, you are judged by the Messiah. And in this new covenant, he will show you how to keep the law. That's another mission that many not understanding, because this new covenant is to abridge us until we can get into the new eternal kingdom. Then the eternal covenant will start at that point. But first we got to get there. And when you understand Yahuwah, you have to know this. He's holy. So therefore we cannot be unholy. So this is why the new covenant was made, because you have to be holy unto him in order for him to bring you into the new kingdom. So again, allow the Messiah spirit, who is the comforter, to teach you on how to keep the law, a mystery that many do not understand. All right, let's end in prayer. In the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, I plead the blood of the Lamb upon this video and upon the links attached. I pray that Christians, Israelites, Gentile, and whoever, Yahuwah will seek you for your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and stop going behind these so-called scholars and these books of the Gentiles, because they don't really understand about the spirit. They truly don't understand, and they are in their flesh, and that spirit of pride is upon them, because all I hear now these days, I this and I that, and I know this, I know that. But when the spirit of Yah deal with you, you learn that you know nothing, and you become humble, and you learn how to have patience with others, and you take on the fruits of the spirit. You follow the Lamb way. So I pray for them, Father. I also pray for Brother Alayasha and his family, for they're truly going through in this time. Do your will upon them, provide what they need and comfort them, and send people to minister unto them. And Father, we just want to thank you for everything you have done for us, because we have done some terrible things to you and to your sons. And I'm sorry, Father, for that. I repent of that. And I ask that you forgive my brothers and sisters for that too. And if anything I have not asked in this prayer, Father, I ask that you fulfill it according to your will. In the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, so be it. All right, my brothers and sisters, remember you will have access to this Google document. This concludes the lesson, which is, let me get to the top, the origins of the Roman Christianity. Kristyane, a Greek word. Continue to preach the gospel that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and I mean it's at hand. For this is the Messiah to return, because one of the greatest signs now is the awakening. For the Negroes are finding out they are the children of Israel, and this is ordained by the powers of the Most High Yah. Also, the heavens and the earth is crying out, for a birth of a nation must come forth now. Please listen to Yahuwah prophetic messages. Please listen to them, my brothers and sisters, for his prophets and prophetess are speaking now. We are in the 7th day from Adam, which is the 12,000 year of creation. And this is how we know the Messiah is due to return, for this is his season now. Read 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and Matthew chapter 24. For the Messiah told us to what? Watch and pray. Okay? Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10, and baptize them in the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. I love you all. And also our email address will be listed in the video description box for those who want to reach out and have further questions. Shalom.